Hey, welcome back. Went down to the shop, got some Fender skirts, did a bunch of hardware shopping, got the right bolts, got some rust prohibitive coating. Maybe today we'll get onto the rear of this thing. Doing my scrunch down posture for this. I digress. Got all the stuff to get the rear of this car in order. We're going to check out the fender skirts. We're going to check out that tail pan that had rust in it. And then we're going to drill a couple holes and bolt some fenders and lights on. Maybe a bumper too. All right, this is where we left off. Got that deck lid primered inside. Got that running board primered. Look at the contour of the roof, how it matches the contour of the running board. Interesting, huh? By design? By mistake? I don't know. Maybe it needs a fin. Ooh. Stick to the topic, Ian. Fix this today. Fix this today. Enough said. Let's do it. If you remember, way back when we fixed that, had some rust, and I only tacked it on because I don't want it to rust again from the inside. Or if it does want to rust, I want to minimize the amount that it will. In other words, try to give the panel some longevity. Let's cut it back off. That's why I tacked it, so we could do this. So what we have is rust, and I wire wheeled it, and I figure I'm just going to put some rust encapsulator on it. Just something that'll help out. I'm going to set up the air and just blow this out, and then apply the product. Yeah, one word of advice. If you sandblast a car, be prepared for sand coming out of everywhere, seemingly nonstop. So they sell all kinds of products for this type of application. Because I'm a risk taker, I decided to go to the local auto parts store. And at least in the US, we are very familiar with a brand called Permatex. They make all kinds of silicone sealants, things of that nature. This claims to seal and protect metal, claims to prevent new rust, and it's a fast drying coating. I want all three of those things that are advertised, so let's follow directions. Scrape with a wire brush, shake well, apply with a brush. I got to drill a couple holes in here and do some other stuff, so should give this ample time to dry. Let's just see what this is all about. Now the welding is probably going to just burn this stuff up, but I have access to it from the trunk, so they have this spray-in coating as well. So I figured, you know what, I'll just double team it. I'll put this stuff all over the rust, the panel back on, and come in for a round two of another product. We have a few different things I've tried out. One of them is down in the shop. They actually gave it to us. It's an undercoating and a rust preventer. Probably try that. I mean, you know, it's only a 37 Lincoln Zephyr. We could stand to mess up a few things. All right, well, that's on there. I'm imagining it's going to turn this black as it dries, so let's let it sit. These fenders, when I repaired this rear pan on each side, there's no holes anymore for the bolts to go, so I have to lay down, put that into position with the drill, and I can't really bolt this one on yet because I'm going to have to weld that shut, but we'll just set up for the bolts. Then we can put the taillights on, maybe the bumper, definitely the deck lid. Just get a little look at what this thing should be as it comes closer to being one piece. Oh, the skirts. Yeah, we're gonna do that too. You'll see they're a little bit funky. From age, the mechanical stuff is stuck. Doesn't want to latch like it's supposed to. Well, that was a very small amount of material used. So I'm gonna go save this cup and brush. Hopefully it's water soluble, we're gonna find out. I'll probably coat this a few times. Oh, interesting, look, this is turning sort of a purple color. I hope the camera gets that. That's quite pretty, if I dare say so. All right, let's let that dry. I'm gonna go rinse this, drill a couple holes. Well, I don't really know what that means, but I was able to rinse that stuff off with water. So, water, rust preventative? What do I know? I'm no scientist. All right, so I could see where the bolt goes right here. That's an easy one to reach. No, I have to take these off. Yeah, I was gonna say that this new drill, the DX11, doesn't have nowhere near the power of the other one. This thing is it's a nice toy. The other one was actually a tool. That's what you get, Honest Ian's tool review. But as I said, I'm usually very hard on my tools, so could be why I'm jamming this thing through steel. See how it locks up? I mean, I guess that does help on your wrists, but it continually just cuts off. See that? Not a fan of that. I want it to rip right through steel, flinging my shoulder out of its socket. That's what I demand in a tool. Cool. So now for this, yeah, it's gonna be kind of a difficult one, but I think I might get it. Let's see, yeah, there's plenty of room down here. Oh yeah, a hole right there. See if we can make that happen without a whole lot of hullabaloo. Yep, you heard it from me. Don't buy this drill. Definitely not going to get sponsorships with that statement, but keeping it real. Feels like this wants to push down. Oh yeah, there it is. It did just push down. Yep, right there. Cool. All right, so I mentioned I had the DX12 before. I guess that's the difference. This one is not so good. Heck yeah. Got that one drilled. Let's try this one. All right, got it. Cool. Well, while this is still drying, you can see it's setting up pretty quick. I could touch it now. Probably gonna put 2 coats of that, and it puddled a little bit on the bottom, so that's not drying as fast. But this could be a combination of a wrestling match and a juggling act, or it could just pop into place. Let's see. Pretty sure I'm just gonna sit in here and hold it. What can we do? I guess I could get a stick and hold this end up. I don't know, let's see what we're working with here. Yeah, well, if you're in here, you'll be able to see that this lines up pretty good. I'm gonna have to get them glasses. That's not as hard as I thought it was gonna be. And you know how it goes, right? You're working in the shop, you're alone. You wish somebody was there to cry out and lend a hand. Nope. It's just me and the camera. One man and his passion. Doesn't feel like this is where it belongs, though. It seems quite a bit out of shape. Almost like the latch doesn't belong here. What the heck is this about? What is going on here? Tell me that this head isn't from this car. Oh man, let me try this ratchet. Here we go. It's that show everybody wanted to see. Yeah, this is pretty weird. So these bolts don't line up, like at all. Oh, let me get a stick over here. Now, I don't know why this is, but all right, here's the current mystery. Doesn't add up. Bolt there, bolt there. Look how far out these are. It's like the hinges are wider, and look, that is definitely even. These look reasonable. It's like these hinges don't belong on this car. How the heck does that happen? I mean, not even close. It doesn't make sense. It's like you have narrow and wide, and look at that, you can't even see. It's like these are supposed to be the same width. Why? Why? You know the old saying, you get what you pay for, right? I got a deal. I mean, it looks like they'll work, but I'm gonna have to get in here and hog this out with the air tool. Are these hinges from a different year? Because what I'm seeing here, it ain't making no sense. So with these hinges, I'm measuring approximately 2.5 on center, and then up top, it's 3.5 on center. When I get here, these are 2 3/4 on center. Both of, and this is, no, they are. This is a square bolt pattern, and this ain't. These aren't for this car. That means I gotta widen all this out to 2 3/4. More like 3, yeah. It's like 2 7/8. So it's getting at is like the outside of these slots are where that needs to be. I don't know. Anybody want a Lincoln Zephyr? It's like the thrill is already coming out of this for me. I'm gonna have to take this down to the shop and get it with the big compressor and open this up because this ain't gonna work. Well, this stuff is set, so I'm gonna go ahead and weld this tail pan on. I mean, would it have occurred to any one of us to measure the mounting flange on that when the deck lid was on the car laying there in the yard? Maybe I'm naive. But either way, I'm not gonna let that stop us. All right, one thing, if you do a little close-up, you can see how wide the gap is here where I fixed that rust hole. That was just, you know, me and my mistake. But it's totally doable with this small wire. You see how I'm treating it, spot welding it, keeping the heat down so it doesn't warp, and that will fill right back in. And using the blade, I like to put that in between the panels and just keep everything lined up. You know, you can push or pull to keep the panels from overlapping each other. But up through here, it's straight ahead. I don't know why this car's fighting me so hard. I ain't been nothing but nice to it. Giving me all kinds of stress today, past few days. Get that wire wheel and clean that a little bit. There's one thing to be said about this primer. It's very strong. Like, you saw what a difficult issue I was having even welding, because it's like a plastic coating. It's really good, but Now that it's burnt up, got out of the way. All right. I'll let this cool down. Let's take a look at those fender skirts. All right, while that rear panel is cooling down, what we got here is a big old latch. And there's like a nut here. I'm assuming maybe when you change the tires, you would have a lug wrench that would just turn this, unless there was a separate tool. I don't know. Either way, it's not working. And I'm thinking we might just take WD-40 and guzzle it in there. Try to get this thing moving. Because other than this little dent right here, this thing is in a very good shape. The trim unbolts. So I'll WD-40 these hardware here also. But just see if we can get this going. And then we can get that latched on. I know we have it. I just bought it. I probably threw this right on top of it. Hey, look, there's WD-40. Right where I left it. Amazing. Amazing how that happens. Let's squirt a little in here. I don't know what kind of lever action or latch is going on in there, and I prefer to not know. One thing I don't like doing is putting WD-40 on surfaces that are going to get cleaned and painted, but I'm going to make an exception this time because I really want this to work right now. Ooh, it just moved. That is a good sign. I was really worried that this thing would just snap or something. And you got a whole can of worms. But it did, it just moved. Gotta find the one that fits. Yep. There it goes. I think we turned a corner here. For the first time in the history of the project, something actually went right. So this is pretty cool. That's why this is such a mechanism. Look what this thing does. Gets out of the way, then it comes and it shuts, and then it pulls the skirt in. Watch. Boom. Technology. And that, class, is why I didn't want to open this thing up. I don't even know what kind of mechanism is going on in there. The fact that it works is a win. That's the last I'm messing with that. Now I'm going to have to degrease the heck out of all this when I get into the paint prep. But, yeah. Now it's totally smooth. Probably just had a lot of desert sand in there. Now what's the other one look like? Got nice and cleaned up. Ooh. This one's missing something. This one's just got a big square thing. I've seen this type of stuff like in a VW bus. They use like a church key. This one looks crustier than the other. What are the chances of lucking out twice on the same day? Anybody want to put a wager on it? I wonder if a ratchet will fit that. Sure will. I don't feel no kind of movement. The fact that a ratchet fits is freaking super cool. I don't know which way it goes. Let's try this again. So clockwise. Okay, clockwise. You know, it's something like this. You don't want to really beat it with the hammer and break it, but might just knock it free. Nothing. It just moved. I am shocked. we turn the corner here? It moved. It's totally moving. There's a lot of rust showing though. Little by little. There it is. It totally cycled. It went out and back in. Up and in. Let's count our lucky stars, because that would have been a real event. Trying to source those parts and repair it. And who knows what the expense. Can we all just take a collective sigh of relief? My blood pressure going through the roof for all of these misadventures. Lucked out. So that little piece goes in there like that. And then these set like that and like that. And that comes up and goes in. You know, there's a lot of pressure in this. Mostly me putting it on myself for trying to create something that's like interesting and feels accomplished. Let's see what this one does. Same drill as the other side. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. When you turn the thingamadoodle, goes in. All right, we're on a roll. I got the bolts for the lights. That goes there. Now there are these little rubber pads that hold this on. So I'm going to order those. Just trying to get the look. I mean, I love lights like this that are on their pedestal. So cool. And I feel like the design just goes back to like the first Model Ts, you know, with their actual little lanterns hanging on them. And it evolved into this incredible, beautiful shape. All right, that's one. Yeah. I'm not gonna bolt this up yet because still gotta grind all this out and do a little modification right here to get that to sit. Now, I gotta say, I did think it was quite odd that this taillight was so rusty in comparison. But seeing that the deck lid is from obviously a different car, you know, who knows what the history of this was. It's amazing to think that like from 1937, you might find a complete survivor, but the reality is it's had a life of its own. It's probably been messed around with quite a bit. But that does not match that or any of the other characteristic of the car. I feel like that's from somewhere else. Unlike the deck lid, this one fits. Right? Bolt. So hopefully I can source another one of these lenses, or at least the bezel. This is broken in here, but I don't think that's really a deal breaker. If I can get that trim ring, I'll just silicone that in. And it's not a problem for me. Tell you what, in my time, I've dealt with a lot sketchier scenarios than this one. I really, really appreciate this. I don't know the story behind the license plate, but it was given to me from a viewer of our channel. Thank you, sir. So the way I took it was, you know, big rage nowadays is electric car. Electric car, right? It's a gas UFO. Make sense? Electric car, gas UFO. I don't know. I like it. Just for conversation, I'm going to stick this in place. Those hinges are going to Santa's workshop. I don't know what happened there. I I know these Zephyrs were made for a couple different years. Those hinges don't match. We're making some headway now though. What do you think? Should we try to slap that bumper on? Let's get set up for a little more disappointment. Now that I know that the bumper brackets straddle that chassis rail, it might work better. Let me take this off in case I start to get a little rough. I don't think I'm going to bolt the bumper on yet. There's still grinding and work to do there, but I'd like to see it. If you remember way back when we started the front bumper, I brought this one in thinking it was the correct bumper, but it was not. This is the rear, I hope. With our luck, who knows what it is. So that's going to straddle the bumper there. Let's see if we got bolts or anything. No, there's nothing in the way. Sure enough. Wow, that sets up high. Is this on upside down? This don't look right either. What in the is going on here? Are the bumper brackets backwards to the bumper? All right, I'm gonna have to do some research. This does not look right to me. Unless it is, and it just looks funny because the car's up in the air so high. Well, something went right today. That's a positive thing. Taillights are looking sweet. Bumper, I don't know. Deck lid, gonna make it work. Stay tuned. Skirts are looking awesome. See you next time.